Welcome to NFL World, where the NFL starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And before we recap what happened in Week 14, let me preface this by saying we're recording this before the Eagles and Chargers contest on Monday Night Football. So let's go into what happened on Thursday between the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys. Lions winning the game 44-30. In a game that, look, the Lions did everything they needed to do. You had to win on a Thursday night. That's not easy to do. You had a whole week to prepare after the Thanksgiving game, as both of these teams did. Your offense looked really good. You were able to run the football. Gibbs wasn't really the biggest factor in the run game. He still had 3 touchdowns. He was awesome. But he wasn't the reason they won this game entirely. In terms of big-time runs, that was David Montgomery, who had 6 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown. He was awesome. But Gibbs, such a threat through the air. Goff can easily just dump it down. It looks like it's going to be a 3-yard gain. Turns out to be a 63-yard gain somehow. That's just what he does. He was awesome. This defense, if I'm the Lions, you can look at this one or two ways. One way being, we gave up 30 points. That's not good enough. That's a glass half empty. Glass half full is, we gave up 30 points to the Cowboys and we still won. That's glass half full. So I was impressed by what the Lions did offensively. I was not happy with the way the officiating went in this game for both sides. The Cowboys jumped off sides. Goff thought he had a free play, threw it down the field. It was incomplete. Thought he was going to get a first down anyway off penalty. Turns out, nope. No official saw it. Nobody. In what way does all of the officials on the field not see an offside penalty? I don't know. I don't know. I can't figure that out. The officiating, I think, in Week 14 was the worst all year that it has been all year. It was really horrible all the way through. Late in the game, the Cowboys have the ball, trying to go score a touchdown. Ferguson looks like he gets held by Anzalone. They call pass interference on Ferguson, which Terry McCauley, the official who works for the network, he works for Prime Video, he works for NBC, said, it's a swim move Ferguson's trying to do. He's allowed to try to get around him and do that instead of just running directly into him. He's allowed to try to get around him. He's allowed to kind of push him a little bit. As long as he's not shoving him to the ground, they're not going to call that. So why did they call it here? And that he was confused by it too. He didn't know the answer to that. That's where it went the other way, I think. It was just a weird call. But it wasn't the reason the Cowboys lost. I think there's 2 things about this Cowboys offense that's a negative. There's a lot of defense that's negative. We're going to talk about the offense quickly. Not a great enough performance. They didn't play well enough. You still scored 30 points, so you have a high-powered offense. CeeDee Lamb gets hurt, concussion. Hopefully he's okay. But not a good enough performance. 2, they turned the ball over 3 times. Fumble by Ferguson. Drop passes that became interceptions. One of them was almost a pick 6. Happened 10 seconds into the third quarter. That's just not good. That was a frustrating part. Dak had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. They didn't run the ball particularly well. Their offensive line was a disaster all night. But that's not the reason they lost. No, I don't think that was the reason they lost. The turnovers were an issue. That's one of them. The second one is, too many times this Cowboys offense is conservative. Their defense isn't very good, so why are they playing it so conservatively? I don't understand it. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch that their offense is so conservative at times. It's frustrating. They're running play action at times of the game where they just need to be straight drop back stuff. And why are they running play action at that point? It doesn't make sense. They couldn't block Aiden Hutchinson all game. They just couldn't do it. Al-Quadin Muhammad had 3 sacks by himself. He was just beating Terrence Steele over and over and over again. It was a horrible offensive line showing for the Dallas Cowboys. So those are the offensive issues. The defense, I mean, we spend a lot of time on it. I'm not going to go too far into it. Their secondary is horrible. They played more man coverage recently, so that's good. But they don't press. They don't press. You have all your top 3 corners, and I'm including Trayvon Diggs into this. Diggs, Bland, Revel, they're all press coverage corners. They're man coverage and they're man press corners. That's what they are. They run press man coverage. The Cowboys don't do that. They don't do it. They don't do it often. They're 5 yards away, 8 yards away, 12 yards away. All the time. It's frustrating to watch because the receiver gets a free release over and over and over again. And it also lessens the errors of that corner because if he's pressed up, that receiver has to go through him. But if he's off like that, it creates so much more problems because he's off all the time that corner can just turn around and you're making that corner, or that corner is thinking he's going to go, that receiver's going 20 yards down the field, and that receiver's just turning around. And now he has to adjust, and he misses the tackle. Now it's all bad. That's what's going on with this Cowboys team in their secondary. They've been bad. Their safeties have been horrible, but their corners have been really bad. We know Bland's a good football player. We've known Diggs is a good football player. They have that in them. So why is it? Why is it like this? I can't answer that. Revel's yelling, that's a different story. But Bland and Diggs are so good at what they do when they're pressed man. Why are they avoiding running press man? I don't understand that. The second thing is more inclusive. They are so bad defensively. The linebackers are horrible. They don't have any. They can't get pressure with the front four. The 5-man front was a nice change, but you can't get pressure really with it. So that's an issue. And this all goes back to Matt Eberflus. They don't blitz. They keep putting Kenneth Murray out there, which I don't know why he can't cover. He doesn't shed blocks. He just runs away from them. Or sidesteps them as much as he can. He's not a good football player. I don't know why we have him out there. Outside of Overshown, this linebacking core has been a disaster. They blitzed Jared Goff 3 times in the first 4 plays. They got after him each one of those times. Of the 29 dropbacks, they had 4 or 5 pressures from the blitz. That's it. They blitzed 4 or 5 times. That for the rest of the game. Why? Why go away from it? It made no sense. I'm tired of the Matt Eberflus experiment. I'm tired. I'm really tired. You still theoretically have a chance, even though it's only theoretical. I think every Cowboys fan is like, if we lose and we're done, let's just fire Matt Eberflus right now. Let's get rid of him. It would be snowing in July if they did that, because that was a Jerry Jones hire. That was a Jones family hire. That is how frustrating it is to watch this team play. It's awful to watch. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. But a big-time win by the Lions. Very big-time win. You needed that game. Both of them needed that game. It lessens the chances that the Cowboys can make the playoffs. Now they're like 9%. The Lions are about 55%. Had the Lions lost, I think it would have gone and dipped to under 30. It was like 30, 32%, something in that range, or under that. The Cowboys would have jumped up to like 34. So that 34%, that's where they would have been. So they needed it. The Lions got it. Good win for the Lions. Moving on to the Bills and Bengals game. Game ended in a 39-34 win for the Bills. Bengals were winning this game by 2 touchdowns. Then you had 2 bad interceptions. One play is a great play from Christian Benford. He blitzes off from his cornerback position. He jumps up. Burrow tries to lay it over him, and he just makes a great Benford makes an athletic play, intercepts it, returns it for a touchdown. The next play, literally the next play, Burrow drops back. The ball gets tipped by Jordan Phillips. It gets intercepted, results in a touchdown later on in that sudden change drive for the Bills, and that's basically how they won the game. The Bills' concern is they turn the ball over a lot. James Cook had a fumble into the end zone that was recovered by the Bengals. Those things can't happen. Cannot happen. Cannot happen. Other than that, in their defense, I don't think played great. You gave up 34 points to the Bengals. Other than that, I'm not too mad at the way they played. I'm not. It was hard in those conditions. It was snowing. You can't really grab your footing. Not mad at it. And if I'm the Bengals, I'm not mad at it either. Because even though we have 9 losses now, as we get into the Steelers and Ravens matchup, no one's really winning this division. It's frustrating to watch this division. So you still have a chance. As we get into that Steelers-Ravens game, the Steelers winning the game 27-22. Steelers, they got away with a lot in this game. Let's begin with 2 things. They had a penalty. It would have resulted in a punt. They didn't convert on the 3rd down. It would have resulted in a punt. They call interference on the Ravens, extends the drive, and the Steelers score a touchdown on that. That's number 1. Number 2, what looked to be a touchdown by Isaiah Likely was called incomplete. He catches the ball 2 feet down. He has control of the ball. It gets punched out. It hits the ground. It was on the field. On the field, it was called touchdown. They reviewed it. It was called incomplete. According to the official who runs instant replay, he gave a very textbook answer. You know when you go to high school or you go to school and you have that teacher who we all had this teacher does a test and they want you to write word by word the answer from the textbook, but you have to memorize it all. And you go to the teacher and you say, why did you make this wrong? I said everything, I just changed the verbiage a little bit. And they're like, exactly, you changed the verbiage. I want the exact words. We've all had those teachers. That's what this is. I didn't care. It's a textbook answer. I don't care. That's not what happened. And I agree. I saw this play, and it's the one time I'm going to talk about ESPN in a positive way. There's a few times I talk about ESPN in a positive way. And this is one of those times. I agree with what Damian Woody said on Get Up this morning. What do you want Isaiah Likely to do? He catches the ball's away from his body because he knows if he brings the ball to his body, it's going to get punched. It's going to get hit. He knows that. So he's keeping the ball away. He caught the ball 2 feet down. He has control of the ball. That's a touchdown. The official says, or the person ahead of instant replay says, very simply, he needs to make a football move. Why? He's in the end zone. We're calling the end zone the heavenly ground. Why on earth has that got to be replayed? Why on earth does he need to have a football move? He's in the end zone. We are again at this point of what is a catch. It should be this simple. Catch, 2 feet down, control the ball. Done. Or whatever, catch 2 feet down, or whatever is the equivalent of 2 feet down, and control the ball. Done. If the guy hits the ground, if the receiver hits the ground, the only rule has to be, does he have control of the ball? As long as he gets something that is the equivalent of 2 feet, shin, knee, whatever, and the ball, which can move a little bit, but he has control of it. It doesn't move too much. He has control. That's a touchdown. Done. That's it. You can have a different ruling for the infield from from the 1 yard line of the Ravens to the 1 yard line of the Steelers, you could have a different ruling. But in the end zone, this should be the rule. That's it. It should be that quick. Catch, 2 feet down, control the ball. Done. That's it. It's not complicated. You just look at this and say, okay, there you go. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about it, because it's dumb. Because it was not the only play in the game. Rodgers has the ball deflected. He catches it. He helmet catches it. This is like a reverse helmet catch. He catches this thing, pins it to his helmet, or so we thought. That's what the officials ruled. It was a catch by Rodgers and a minus a couple yards. The Ravens player grabs the ball with 2 hands. And it's not like baseball. It's too much like baseball, where tie goes to the runner, where the runner's running to first base. The person covering first base and their feet simultaneously hit the base bat, the first base bat. And they said, well, tie goes to the runner. That's what they called here, basically. It doesn't make sense. Simplify the rule. That's all you have to do. Catch, 2 feet down, control the ball. Done. Done. Forget he needs to make a football move. I'm okay even if you could say, well, we have to make a football move in the field, but in the end zone we won't. Okay, fine. That simple. Cut it all out. Done. But the Ravens, I don't know what they are. Against bad teams, they'll look really good. Against good teams, they look horrible. Lamar didn't look good. He doesn't look healthy. Steelers needed this game. They're winning this disastrous division. I don't know how. That's why I keep saying the Bengals have a chance. Moving on to the Bears and Packers. Packers winning the game 28-21. Fun game. This was fun. Great play. Great touchdown. Great throw by Caleb Williams that was on the touchdown by Olamide Zaccheaus. It was a great game. Great throws. Bo Melton had a couple of great plays. It was awesome. It was fun to watch. Outside of the fourth quarter for Caleb Williams, where he threw the interception late and letting the clock run down, which I don't quite understand, I thought they played fine. I thought they played fine in the fourth quarter. I like the way they play. Just, you have to learn from this a little. That's all you got to do. It was a big thing, big change of events. Packers winning. Now they are ahead in their division. They're the number one. They're number one in their division. They're ahead of Chicago, who's now the 7th seed in the playoff picture. And they don't have a lot of easy games ahead for the Bears. They gotta go play the Packers one more time. They gotta go play the Vikings. They play the Lions. It's gonna get hard. It's gonna get really hard. They better figure this out. They really have to. Because you're losing ground. If you cannot afford to lose ground, you cannot allow the Lions back into this thing. You cannot allow that to happen. But a great win by the Packers. Great game. I don't have too much to say about this Packers offense. They played well. Sometimes they leave us. Sometimes they are there. Packers were there on offense. I can't be mad at it. Last game, Texans versus Chiefs. Score is 20-10. Texans won. Both these teams play offense, and the way they play offense hurts me. They just don't play well. Texans, third quarter, what were they doing? 9 plays. They didn't even have a first down. They couldn't get a first down. They were so bad. Spagnuolo just blitzed them every time, and C.J. Stroud didn't have an answer. That was what they did. He did not have an answer. And then maybe, I don't know, block Chris Jones. Block him. He's the one player they got. Block him. Maybe don't put Dalton Schultz on George Karlaftis. I don't know. Just a logical guess, I guess. I don't know. That's what was going on. This offense hurts me if I'm the Texans. It hurts me because you have a great defense. Their defense was awesome. You forced Mahomes to turn the ball over 3 times. Mahomes had no touchdowns. Like, you did what you got to do as a defense. That was awesome. They were smothering people. The first interception, just a great play by Petrie to deflect the ball, find the ball after the deflection, and then recover and intercept the ball. I don't know how he did it, but it was an awesome play. The second interception, that was just a bad one. I think he just misjudged the throw. It gets intercepted by Lassiter. And the final interception, I mean, Kelsey's got to catch that. That ball gets tipped. It goes over his helmet. As much comedy as you can have. I said this early in the year. I said that the Chiefs, when you look at the Chiefs, they're frustrating to watch. Their receivers are too small. Rice is too small. Brown is too small. Worthy's too small. Your tallest guy is Tyquan Thornton as a receiver. It's him and Juju Smith-Schuster. That's who you have. And Tyquan Thornton's not a tall receiver. He's not. Juju is the guy you got. That's pretty much it. And he's not even really a receiver. He's a receiver tight end hybrid. That's how frustrating it is. I know the offensive line's banged up. You're playing with your fourth and fifth tackles because your third tackle gets injured on the first play. Like, that's unlikely, but it did happen. It's frustrating. I get it. But unless Mahomes makes a miracle play, this offense can't do anything. They just can't. Your defense, if I told you as a Chiefs, we're going to hold a team to 20 points, you're going to say, oh my God, we won. These fans would say it. You held the team to 20 points. Oh my God, how much we win by? And you say, well, you didn't. We lost by 10. What happened? That's what I felt like in this game. It was frustrating. And I do have to say this. There was one thing I agree with what Tirico and Collinsworth said last night was the plays, the tip passes that didn't result in interceptions or didn't result or resulted in catches or resulted in incompletions, drop passes in general, penalties, or Mahomes running around making plays. That was in their favor last year. This year, it's not. Those tip passes are now intercepted. Those deflections are now intercepted or incomplete at the best case scenario because you can't catch them. Those passes that are dropped are becoming either dropped, hitting the ground, or incomplete on third downs, ending drives, or are becoming interceptions, which still end the drive. There is nothing. They don't get anything. It's not because the game is bad. It's more because of everything kind of comes home to roost at some point. Everything kind of comes home to roost, as in the way they're playing the game. It's hard for them because you were, I think, outrageously like 17-0 in one-score games. And then this year you're 1-6. It all kind of comes home to roost. At some point, what goes around comes around. And in this case, that's what happened for the Chiefs. But a great win by the Texans, who are getting back into this division, by the way, after the Colts losing to the Jaguars. Now the Jaguars are ahead of this division. The Colts have lost 4 straight, and they lost their starting quarterback as Daniel Jones is out for the season with a torn Achilles. This injury stinks. Any injury that is lower leg is an issue. Daniel Jones was playing on a broken leg, which anything can be described as broken leg. If you have a fracture in your ankle, you can have a broken leg. That's what they call it. Jones had a slight fracture in his fibula that counts as a broken leg, and he was playing on it. I'm not saying that was a direct result or that directly caused the Achilles injury, but he was trying to put more pressure on the other leg, and then he tears his Achilles. It's frustrating. He was on a 1-year contract. You knew he was going to get paid either by the Colts or by somebody else. So it's frustrating from that perspective. But also, the time he had the injury, December. Let's say he had surgery in January. The normal recovery timeline is 9 months. So you're looking at that and saying, October, maybe I'm walking. Unassisted. maybe in November, late November, December, I'm running. Maybe I'm playing by the following September. But that's 2 years away. That's in 2027. That's a long time. A guy was going to get paid, whether it was by the Colts or by somebody else. It was frustrating. It's hard to see that. So our thoughts and prayers are with Daniel Jones, his family, his teammates. The Colts, this was a big loss. They lost to Jacksonville. They've lost 4 straight. Now you lose your quarterback. Anthony Richardson's not healthy. So now it's Riley Leonard. If you're the Colts, you go get somebody that either does or even doesn't have history with Shane Steichen. Who knows? Let me know in the comments if your favorite team won this week. And also, with the injury to Daniel Jones, do the Indianapolis Colts miss the playoffs? For NFL World, I'm Jacob Hebert. Out.